welcome to the Bradford City v Hartlepool United match reaction. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. Good result, 3-1. Andy Cook on the score sheet twice again. He's now got 5 goals this season in 6 games, but he's only played 304 minutes, which is nearly around 2 matches. He came on for 10 minutes or so against Colchester, and roughly the same amount of time against Doncaster in the first game. So he's doing really well this season. That last goal he scored, the second goal, was a brilliant finish. I mean, the first one was well, but that second goal, he one-on-one with the defender, comes inside on his weak foot, and then smashes it into a top left corner with really good composure. And I think he gives us composure, experience, but he also gives us hunger up front as well. He gives us quite a few things, and when you look at Andy Cook last season and you look at Andy Cook this season, they're two completely different players. I think he wasn't lazy last season, but he could have put more effort in, or he could have done more. He's come out and said with his weight that he could have, he shouldn't have allowed himself to get like that. And this season he just looks up for it, and he's a different player. But yeah, I think Hughes did well with his substitutions, brought Harrod on, and then changes the game in a way, because he ran in behind and pull it across to Cook for a tap in. But it was more than a tap in really. He still had to do well. Still had to, get his foot in the way of the ball. But yeah, I think all round it was a pretty good game. I think there were a few players who could have had better games, a few players who could have done more, and a few players who I have worries for. With every game we are seeing more of the players, and we get to see more of the positives and more of the negatives, and get to see what our own players' weaknesses are. And when you look at players like Brad Halliday, I think he didn't have a good game against Colchester, and he didn't have too good of a game today. I think he could be in trouble. I think he's a bit like Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool. When you think about it, it's really good going forward, but then coming back on the defence, I think there's question marks. He got done for their goal on the back post. I think he was asleep. I really do, because the attacker runs in behind him and has a free shot. But then the crossing as well, Rideout should have done better to stop the cross. Free cross, free shot, and a near post goal. I don't think Lewis could have done much with it. But the Fulham were, we scored our goal, and then they went and scored from a counter attack. What we should have done when we scored that goal was control the game, and we should have made it hard for the opposition to break us down, and we should have consolidated and then gone for a second goal. When you score a goal, you can't just push for a second and be all open. You've got to be more disciplined then, because the opposition are going to come on to you more, and you're going to have to face more pressure. So what do we do? We go and try counter them, and it becomes an end-to-end game, and we should just look to control the game. But yeah, I think apart from that, we had a good game. They went and scored, and then we did control the game a bit more, and we were rightful winners. I don't think Hartlepool from any minute looked like they were going to be better than us, or looked like they were going to beat us. Players like Callum Cook who went there, I'd expect more from him, because I still think we should have kept Callum Cook, because he's good depth. He's a really good attacking midfielder, and with Jamie Walker injured now, he does seem to be a bit injury prone. He could have maybe started today and give us something different to Chapman. I think I would have rather have had him, but he hasn't got a goal or an assist in his first 5 games at Hartlepool. Maybe he should have gone to someone who would have been challenging, rather than going to somewhere closer to home. I do feel like Callum Cook's a better player than that. But yeah, I think players like Songo who came on, I will go into the match ratings, but he's still got something to prove. He definitely is a midfielder, came in as a defensive midfielder, and he didn't really do much, but today he came on, and I think he's a good player to come on if you are going to try and consolidate a lead, like we did. And yeah, Bradford City as a football club is a very much like a roller coaster. We win a game and we're up, we lose a game and we're straight back down, and that's just the morale with the fan base. And we've won again today, and it'll be all high spirits, but we've only just lost on Tuesday. and you're getting negative reaction to team news, and a bit of negativity. But I think it's only August. There's still loads of time in the season. We had a good start last season. But yeah, I think we do need to push on with this win. We've got Blackburn on Tuesday, and hopefully we can, push on in the Carabao Cup as well. Because I think it were 2015, the season we did win the FA Cup. We beat Leeds, and then we lost in the second round, I think. So it'd be nice to have a good cup run. So it'd be nice to carry on the way we're going on Tuesday night. But into the player ratings, Harry Lewis, I'm going to give him a 6. Conceded, could have done better. Didn't have much to do. Distribution was alright, so I'm going to give him a 6. He didn't have much to do. Brad Halliday is getting a 5 because he was decent going forward. Decent, maybe a 6 out of 10 going forward, but defensively, I think he cost us a goal and he should have done better. But he's a massive improvement on Frelkeld, and he's an improvement on Luke Hendry. But, there's still question marks over Brad Halliday if he can do it for us this season. It's still early on, but 2 pretty poor games from him, and Luke Hendry could put pressure on him, and that's what we need. I think Folds has to come in for Rydal, who's going to get a 5 as well, because they do need to know that there's someone behind him who can come in. I think with the strikers and the attacking options going forward, they've got players behind them who can come in and prove themselves, and that's giving them a push. It's definitely given Andy Cook a push. It's giving Gay Howard a push because he's coming off the bench and he's constantly doing well or constantly proving himself. Songo came on today and he had something to prove, got an assist, and he looked solid in that position. So there's many players who are performing under the pressure, and I think them 2 fullbacks probably do need someone to come in to give them a bit of a push, a bit of a motivation. So yeah, I'd give them both 5s again because they just seem a bit lazy and a bit lethargic. They do need a push. But yeah, I expect better from them 2, and I would like to see maybe Luke Hendry and Fold starting there, because they do need that push, like I said. Moving on to 2 centre-backs, they're both getting 7s, definitely Matty Platt. I think it's a bit controversial, I do prefer Matty Platt to Critchlow. Not only is he our player, but he does look a bit more composed and a bit more steady, whereas Critchlow, I'm a bit nervous with Critchlow. I don't know about you, you'll probably disagree with me in the comments, tell me why. But Critchlow does seem to be wanting to dive into challenges, or he goes towards the ball, whereas Platt lets the ball come towards him, and I do prefer that because he seems a bit less like he's going to be on the front foot and a bit less like he's going to make a mistake. He still might, but I do prefer that as a centre back than a player who's going to rush into challenges. But they both had good games, and yeah, that's just the preference. But I do like them both. With Critchlow and Howard and Banks, I'm pretty sure that their contracts are running out at Crystal Palace and Huddersfield at the end of this season. So I think that's why I've been clever with loan signings. If the app that I used is right, then they are. And if they are clever with loan signings, because we're getting them in loan, looking at them, if they play well, we might be able to get them back in the summer, and that way we can develop them on loan and then use them the next season as well, which is quite clever if that is what we've done. But yeah, I do like Critchlow, I do like Platt, but they both had solid games. I'll give them a 7. Smallwood 7, looks solid, passing well, defending well as well. It's just a complete midfielder that we need, and he's always going to be a 7. Gilead 7 as well. Not much to say with Gilead. He gives a lot of energy in the midfield, a bit like a Sutton, but he has the technical ability, and he had a steady game today. I'll give him a 7. Chapman, it's either a 5 or a 6 with Chapman. I'm going to give him a 6 because we won, but I expect better. At Newport at home, he was really good in that position, but maybe he's better on the right or the left as a more creative player who can take on a player, rather than in that number 10 where he's got to try and feed balls through the middle or try and take players on centrally. Maybe he's better at cutting in centrally. But yeah, I don't think he had a particularly good game today, and I don't think he had a good game against Colchester, but hopefully, Tuesday night he can do well. But I don't think he's particularly good in that position, and I think he'd be better on the wing. But we do need Jamie Walker back, and he'd be Sure he'd be better on the wing anyway. Moving on, I'll give him a 6. Leon Goal 7, he got quite a bit of criticism in the comments to the team news, and I don't know why. He was brilliant for us last season towards the end. Yeah, he got injuries, but I think he's our best winger at this minute. Maybe, well, no, he ain't. Scott Banks is our best winger. Who's going to get an 8 from me because of the goal, and he just looks confident and he just looks good. I mean, there's not much more to say about Banks. He's confident, drives at players, skillful, but he has got a bit of strength as well, whereas Young and Chapman don't seem to have the strength that he has. So they don't seem to be good at holding the ball up. Talking of holding the ball up, Leangol did that brilliantly today. He's getting a 7. I do feel like with our other wingers, apart from Banks and Angol, they seem to let it go through the legs and they don't seem to hold the ball up. They seem to want to just turn the man and get it in behind and hit him with pace. Whereas Leangol seems to be, I'll get it to my feet, I'll hold the ball up, I'll try spin him, and I'll bring others into play. Whereas maybe a Chapman and a Young want to get in behind and maybe put a cross in. He's a bit different, and I think it's good. You know, he was good last season, got a bit of criticism, but I've liked him this season on the wing. He'd probably be better up front, but when you've got Cooker and Howard who are performing really well, it's going to be hard for him to get up front. And he's making that position his own on the left, and I do prefer him out there to Young or Chapman, and I do think he had a good game. Let me know if you disagree in the comments down below, but I'm giving him a 7. And then Andy Cook up front, 8. You know, he gets my man a match, 2 goals, led the line well, experience, composure on the attack, and he just looks a completely different player. And you know, he's just a breath of fresh air at the minute because he keeps scoring goals and he's bringing that positivity. And he's just, every time he touches the ball and he's striking it, it goes in the back of the net, and that's all you can ask for. He's probably going to be one of our most underrated strikers, because last season he got criticism, the season and a half he was there before. I think most of us wanted Danny Rowe to start over him, and Truman got rid of Rowe for whatever reason and started Andy Cook, and then Derek Adams brought Cook in. So he's had a difficult time at Bradford City because, you know, we wanted Danny Rowe over him. Last season we wanted Leangol over him. This season wanted Oliver over him. But time and again he is getting the goals, and he is proving that, no, I'm your number 9. And 2 goals today, and he looks very good. He looks confident, like I said. But talking about the subs, Howard 7 got the goal, changed the game. It looks brilliant. I'd start Howard and Cook up front next game. They do look like a real threat to defences. You know, Howard has the pace in behind, looks technically good on the ball, whereas Cook's different to him. He's good at pressing players, he'll keep running, but he can hold the ball up and he's brilliant at finishing. So they do complement each other well. I'd start them two next game, whether it's Howard behind him and pressing up towards him and making ones behind him, or whether it's in a strike partnership where it's a 2 up top. I'd start them too because they look dangerous. Any other subs? There was some, but I can't remember them. I always forget the subs because mainly they don't do anything. Young 6 didn't do out, and Songo 6, but he does look like a player who could come off the bench, or he looks like a steady player as a bench player. You know, if someone gets injured at the back, he can come in and you know that he'll be solid there, he'll be steady. If someone gets injured in midfield, he'll be steady there. Or if we're 2-1 up and there's 5 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, bring him on, sit him just in front of the back 4 and he'll shield them like Smallwood. And he's a very good utility, and you have to have utility players. So hopefully he gets used, and I do think he's a very good player at this division as a bench player. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. 3-1 win, good performance on to Tuesday. Let me know your thoughts on the match, and let me know your player ratings in the comments down below. Have a good one.